G'day everyone, welcome to Matt Hill Scale Models, the only YouTube channel with a wobbly camera. No, I'm only joking. Look, today's video is about an old kit, and it's one of these things been rattled around in the stash for a while. It's a classic. It's the Revell Corsair F4U-1D in 1/72 scale. Now, I've looked for this box art on ScaleMates. I can't find it. Originally, this kit came out in 1963 and has been reissued over the years in different variations of boxing. This kit was given to me to do something with it. As I said, it's been rattling around in this model room for a long time, and I decided I'd do something with it. So when I was on ScaleMates, I did print out a set of instructions. This kit didn't have any instructions, so we'll have a quick look at that. And what I do like about this, and it's not like the original, it is the original instructions but photocopied, is the way that things were presented back in the early 60s when model building was a thing for kids. And basically what we have here is that's the instruction sheet, just with the important list and a few things, and I won't rumble through it, but it's a very, very basic kit. But you know, colour callouts, fuselage, wings, there's not many parts in this kit at all. And then you had the advertising for collecting everything. Now I know this kit is still kicking about in various forms, and so is the Kurz P40E and the Mr. Schmidt, which I've got an old boxing as well to do, and just the colour card out of dark blue, light blue and powder blue. So I don't know what they work out with that, so whether they were using the old Pactra paints back in the day, I'm not too sure. Some interesting facts about your Vought Corsair. The Japanese called it the Whispering Death. The US Navy called it the F4U. It was generally considered one of the best carrier-based fighter of World War II. The Chance Vought F4U Corsair certainly qualified for one of these descriptions, to exceed 400 miles an hour. Its distinctive wing shape dictated by the use of a Pratt Whitley R2800 double wasp engine, which required a large propeller, and it certainly was one to utilise the power. The inverted gull-shaped wing was selected to avoid using exceptionally long landing gear to provide sufficient propeller clearance. Revell model of the Corsair is a replica of the fighter flown by Colonel Gregory Pappy Boynton, leader of the Marine Squadron VMF 241. Boynton is one of the most colourful figures of the war. Had 28 victories to his credit before his capture by the Japanese in January 1944. Following his release, Boynton was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross. The Corsair had a wingspan of 40 feet 11 inches. The length was 33 feet 4 inches. The height was 15 feet 1 inch. Maximum speed was 425 miles an hour at 20,000 feet. So, I've been doing a little bit of research on this, and because the decals were absolutely cooked, I have had to go through some bits and pieces to find some decals, which we'll look at later. We'll go to the kit itself and the box. And one thing about these boxes is it certainly is a fantastic presentation of a model kit. Nice quality cardboard box, and some of the other kits available on the side. Frameable box top lid, made in Great Britain by Revell, Great Britain Limited, this one. So this is, I don't know whether it's an English boxing or it's different to the American boxing or whatever, but yeah, fantastic. And I will be keeping this little box once the kit is completed. Now this kit, as I said, was given to me years ago. I'll just tip everything out here, no mucking about. We've got a couple of fuselage halves, the lower wing section. We've got cowling, engine, nose, canopy, etc, etc, etc. Look at this, all this old lovely classic plastic. A few bits and pieces missing. It had another set of wheels thrown in it out of something, which I'm going to have to work out how I'm going to get this landing gear to accept these wheel hubs, because originally the kit had a O-ring for a tyre, and then one of these little hubs here as a front part of the hub of the wheel, which is missing. But it's very, very basic kit, and the reason why I want to do this is to show everyone, even younger modelers and older modelers, that you can get a good result from these old kits. So the colour of the plastic does remind me of the Matchbox plastic that used to come out in some of their two-tone kits back in the day. It has very pronounced raised panel lines, moulded in guns, etc, etc. The other thing that I do find interesting about this kit is usually the top wing section is one piece, and then you usually put the lower piece in, but this is you add a small piece into the top of the wing section. There is a gap that runs along here for all the flaps and landing gear, etc, and just a little bit of a sinky line there, which I think will work out. No interior detail on any of the parts whatsoever. The gun chutes for the 50 caliber machine guns are blanked. You know, there's a few things you can do to improve this with very, very little effort. The engine is moulded quite crudely, but I think with the detail painting and some wash, it would look okay. The other thing which I have noticed when I was test fitting this kit a few times looking at doing this build is that the propeller sits a long, long way from the engine cowling. I will modify that so it steps back just that little bit closer, otherwise it's going to look a little bit pointy, which is just running this part of the gearbox crank housing down a little bit to get it to fit. The clear plastic is very, very thick. I think it will clean up, and just with a little bit of polish it will look okay for what it is. No detail on any of the the undercarriage doors. There is one undercarriage door part missing, which is one of these here, the little front piece, but that's no worries because we can make another one anyway, and we might get really cheeky and start making some that are a little bit thinner out of some other material anyhow. I'll try to do as much improvement to this old kit just to show you that something you can get for a couple of bucks, you can make something of it. The part of the stand is missing, and I said at the time the decals in this kit were completely crook. I'll put everything back in here, back into the box. I'll hopefully try to get this done in a 3 or 4 part build along series, so I can just show you a few things that I've been doing and how I've done it to we can try to get as much detail as we can out of this old bird. We might even put Mr. Boynton in the cockpit yet, which I don't normally do. I don't think I will. I just might pose it open somewhere. But I'll just, sorry about this guys, I'll make sure that everything is put back in the boxes. Now, as I said, the decals were crook, burnt out, had it completely zip, zero, nada, no good. So what do I plan to do? The aircraft that it is depicted in the colour call out is of course Pappy Boynton's aircraft from VMF 214, and I will still build Poppy Boynton's aircraft. I've had this decal sheet. This is the Super Scale International US Aces World War II. In this we've got markings and personal insignia of McKinnon, Wesner, Maguire, Ketford, Boynton, Campbell, Eggleston and Bong. I will be using this old sheet, which is something else that, you know, I've picked up over the years, never used, and when I've seen this kit I will thought to myself I'll use it. So this aircraft here, let me have a quick look. Gregory Boynton, United States Marine Corps. So these will be used on the kit, and I'll build Boynton's aircraft in overall dark navy blue, just like the TV show. Black Sheep Squadron. Decals will come from the spares, and I'll hopefully will get the stars and stripes. These here are out of an old AT6 Texan 148 scale kit because the markings were quite large, and a couple more bits and pieces in the spares box. So this is going to be a little bit of an interesting project, filling in time. I've got too much stuff laying around here half done, as Mr. Frankie Day would say, modeler syndrome, where you've got too many projects started and nothing finished. So it's the idea of getting something, these couple of kits finished. Well, I've got a few kits on the go, videos on the way, before I start the Peter Person tribute build, and then we'll have something for Mr. Greg Riley coming up as well, which I'll announce. So until next video, guys, be safe, model hard. Hopefully we can get a good result from an old model kit, and we'll catch you later, and ba ba ba.